Hello and welcome to Todd Miller TV. The question of the day is, why are the foreclosure filings down so much? And when I say foreclosure filings, that's sort of the common term. It can mean a couple different things. It can mean notice of trustee sale, which is where they actually go to the notice to sell the house at the courthouse. This is actually the notice of default. It's the first one. So I'm going to give you an example. This is the notice of default list for yesterday. This is everything that was filed yesterday. There are 6 properties on here, and it takes up a whole sheet of paper. Okay, so 6 properties. A year ago today, this is it. It's actually substantially thicker. It's about 51 pages. So you can see that, here's today's. Here's a year ago today. The notice defaults are substantially down. You're probably wondering why. It's not because there's not houses out there that people are late on their payment. It's because the state has changed the rules, and the banks and all the servicers are just figuring out how to deal with the change. But the most notable change is this. It's called the Affidavit of Authority to exercise the power of sale. When they file the notice of default, this has to be filed too. It has to be filed. And what it says is that the filer, basically, being first duly sworn upon oath, based upon personal knowledge and under penalty of perjury, attests that I am the beneficiary or trustee or the authorized representative, the beneficiary trustee of the deed of trust described in the notice of default and election to sell, which this affidavit is attached. And then they have to go through and fill out a whole bunch of information. They have to put their address, their full name, all of the information about the property, how much the payments were missed, what the late fees are, what the principal amount that's still owed, and all of that, as well as the chain of who is the owner, what's their address. So that is causing a little bit of a problem. Because they are not built to do this. The way it worked before was they could just file it, and then if you were trying to go backwards and figure out if it was filed correctly. So basically, despite what you've heard, like they say 90% of them are filed wrong, the people, it's not like people that were making their mortgage payment every month and were all being foreclosed on. That wasn't it. These are people who hadn't paid their mortgage in a long time. So the state stepped in and said, we're going to make it even harder now for the banks to foreclose, and so they have this new piece of paper. So what does this mean to you if you're a consumer out there? It doesn't mean anything, really. People are still going to get foreclosed. The banks are going to figure this out. Right now there's a moratorium. All of the banks are on moratorium. They've been on moratorium for over a month. They're not doing even evictions on properties that they have right now. They're just kind of kicking back. What are we going to see in January? We're going to see these start to pick up again, and we're going to see this list here is going to start to look like this again. It's going to be huge. It actually is probably going to be even bigger, because now we've got this backlog building up of all these properties that should have been had the notice of default filed, are all going to have to hit. So what we're going to see is at one point someone's going to turn on their switch and these things are going to flood in. So, how long would it be before we would see it in the marketplace? Well, the notice of defaults would have to stop for about 6 months before it would really affect us. These properties where these notice of defaults were filed a year ago, some of these properties have not been. I went and checked. Some of these properties still haven't been foreclosed. So what that means is we still have properties from a year ago we're waiting to foreclose on. So it's not like if they don't file the notice of default, we stop having inventory. So anyway, the bottom line is market forces are very strong, and not much is going to stop these foreclosures from happening. They need to happen. We need to clear them out so we can get back to a normal market and back to what we do here, which is sell real estate. In the meantime, maybe an opportunity here. If the inventory does go down a little bit, that'll create an artificial excess demand, and then prices will go up a little bit, so that'll be good too. Anyway, that was my update for today, and I just wanted to let you know this is nothing to be scared of. It's just a piece of paper. They just want somebody they can put the finger on if they need to, and before they didn't have that. So anyway, what I'll try to do is go meet somebody who like actually is involved in this process and get better information. So anyway, that was the update, and hope to see you on another video. Thanks.